Hey guys, Mykah is actually here in town for episode 4 of Severance, Woe's Hollow. I cannot tell you how excited I am about this episode. I got literal chills while I was watching this episode. So I'm going to do a quick little recap. I think I timed it, and how long did I say it was? Like 3:45?
A little over 3 minutes. He couldn't quite hit my level, but you know,
I'm not
he's
that good.
doing his best.
But I think this is an excellent recap, and I'm really excited to hear your opinion.
I'm excited.
Okay, you ready?
I have my grading pad ready. I'm just kidding.
Write all this stuff down. Okay. So first of all, what?
Yeah.
This episode was absolutely unhinged in the best way, and I am not okay. We start with the MDR crew, Mark, Helly, Irving, and Dylan, waking up outside in the middle of a frozen wasteland. Not a desk in sight, no computers, no fluorescent lights. Just snow, trees, and a distinct lack of corporate oversight, which is somehow even more terrifying. And then a literal TV appears in the woods, because of course it does. And there's Milchick's all too happy face telling them they've voluntarily signed up for the Outdoor Retreat Team Building Occurrence, or ORTBO, which is a weird acronym. Mm-hmm. Which, first of all, no. Hard pass. But second of all, they apparently have a mission. They have to find the 4th appendix of the Lumen Handbook, which is hidden inside Scissor Cave, a place where Keir Egan supposedly tamed the 4 tempers, Woe, Frolic, Dread, and Malice. Yeah, because nothing says team bonding like wandering through a cursed corporate folktale in sub-zero temperatures.
Fun.
Things only get weirder from here. They start seeing doppelgangers of themselves in the woods, silently guiding them toward a cave. And instead of having a full-blown panic attack like normal people, they just follow them? Sure, why not? When they finally make it to Scissor Cave, they find the 4th appendix, and oh boy, does it drop some lore. Keir had a twin brother named Dieter, and the reason you've never heard of him? Well, Dieter Egan essentially impregnated nature and then turned into a tree. Like a literal tree, just standing there, existing, being severely underpaid for his contributions to the company. Irving really expresses his distrust of Helly due to the Night Gardener situation. They stumble upon a deceased animal that very closely resembles what can only be described as the Montauk Monster. They arrive at the tallest waterfall on the planet, with their creepy gangers watching over them like a waffle party flash mob, minus the waffles. The rest of the night is filled with empty promises of copious luxury meats, Keir imprinted marshmallows, only to sacrifice the entire stack to the bonfire in a fit of corporate pique, 4-ply washroom tissue, a snow seal, a theremin, a terrifying bedtime story filled with arboreal self-love, and a half-bride called Woe, Irv's sudden interest in the Night Gardener's wardrobe, and some bow chicka wow wow, which is followed, as it usually is, by self-loathing and shame and just a pinch of reintegration sickness. Irving wanders off into Dieter's woods, stumbles across the perfect rock for an existential crisis nap, and immediately knocks out. In Dreamland, he gets a full-blown Lumen fever dream. The MDR cubicles appear out of nowhere, he catches a fleeting glimpse of Bert, because of course he does, and then things get way more cursed. Enter the half-bride Woe, looking straight out of a nightmare, and an MDR file called Montauk, which seems way too eager to spill company secrets. And then, because this episode wasn't already running on pure insanity, Irving, who has been slowly losing his grip on reality, snaps and dunks Helly straight into a freezing waterfall. This man woke up today and chose violence. He's convinced Helly is an Egan plant, so he waterboards her for corporate truth. And guess what? He was right. Milchick panics and lifts something called the Glasgow Block, revealing that Helly's Audi has been controlling her innie the whole time. And just when you think things can't get worse, Milchick straight up deletes Irving. Immediate and permanent dismissal. Just gone, like he was never even there. And then it ends. The episode's over. No closure, no comfort, just pure psychological warfare. I have so many questions, and I need to go outside and touch some grass immediately.
Amen.
What'd you think?
Amen.
Good.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's Yeah, I have so many questions about
So
what
many.
was going on.
Right.
My first thought was, okay, they're all waking up in this remote location. How did they do that? There must be a way, obviously we know now by the end of the episode, that they can flip a switch whenever.
Right.
And they can become their outie or innie again.
Right.
So that's weird. The thing that my mom actually noticed this first, she's like, where's that TV plugged in? When the TV is on the side of the cliff,
I didn't even think of
she's
that.
like, there's no way they can get a look. She's like, this is all in their head. None of this is real. That's what she was
That's
like
smart.
relying on at first.
I didn't even consider that.
No, I didn't either. I was like, oh yeah, where would they plug a TV out in the middle of effing nowhere?
I just went along with it. I was like, sure, they have power, no problem.
Yeah, it's just plugged into one of those boulder plugs.
Yeah, the standard boulder outlets that you get at Lowe's.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, super weird. Don't understand how that's possible. And again, nobody reacted even like remotely normal to seeing their shadow other than Dylan. It was, even for Dylan, it was kind of like...
But he still had his standard reaction.
Yeah.
The WTF reaction.
Yeah.
So I actually, as I was listening to the podcast, they were talking about that DVD. They had on the guy who created all the music for the show. He was the guest on this episode of the podcast. And they were talking to him about the music, and the music for the DVD menu, he created it. It's something you don't even think about. He created this, and if you listen to it, it's the same song that Cobell sang in MDR right before they put up those doors. And you know that song. I'm not a singer, so don't at me. So where she's like, "Kier, chosen one, Kier." So I had a thought for this episode.
Okay.
It was Kier, frozen one, Kier, because it was so cold. So that was fun.
Yeah, the theme song, I noticed the weird music too, but it isn't weird for Lumen. It's like some kind of slightly creepy 80s.
Yeah.
Like infomercial type music.
That's what he was going for. He mentioned that. He said that he
Yeah.
wanted it to feel like one of those like 90s DVDs, like somebody just...
Well, that's the kind of TV they had in, like, when
Right.
I was in school, which that's what they would roll in, like, even in the 2000s. Like, we're going to
Right.
watch Bill Nye today. That's the exact TV and TV wheeling cart.
I honestly feel like they're doing that on purpose. Because think about how they treat all of the innies. They treat them like their children. They talk to them like they talk to them like their children. They have the first name, last initial, like you would in any school. And even like later on in the episode, whenever Milkshake is reading the story to him, he's doing it like not a bedtime story, but like a story. You know, he holds it up so they can see the pictures. And it's like
they're at church camp.
Well, it's like they're at school. Like he's treating them like their children. So I honestly think that, and they kind of are. You know, they're basically, they've only been alive for a very, very short amount of time. So I always thought that was just kind of funny.
Yeah.
The fourth appendix is in Scissor Cave.
Great names for everything, by the way.
Right. And that's
Cave.
what I'm getting at was like, is that a reference to like cutting or splitting the mind in half? Is that like, why did they call it Scissor Cave?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
That's just...
And the appendix is also a body part.
That's true.
It's the fourth one.
It's the fourth body part ever listed. Their doppelgangers are next. Is the next thing that they happen to run into. Everybody looks just a little bit odd. All their doppelgangers look a little bit odd.
Yeah.
Mark, honestly, I knew it was Mark as soon as he stood up there. I was like, that's Mark.
That terrible haircut.
Right.
Unrecognized. Can we talk about that? Like, what's going on with that? I'm sorry. I need to ask somebody that could possibly ever get back to me. Why does his hair look like that in that show?
Is it just in this episode or the whole show?
The whole show. You haven't noticed? He has, like, helmet hair 24/7.
I've noticed Hallie's hair.
Oh, it's too long.
Oh, yeah. I've
Hallie's
noticed
hair I like.
Right, but... I haven't noticed any of the dudes.
Mark's hair is terrible. Why have they chosen to do... I think maybe they're trying to lean into, like, the depressed...
Yeah, where he's not taking care of himself.
Widower, thing. And that's probably what it is, but I just really hate the way he slicks it back for work, and it's too long, and just... Nothing grinds my gears like a bad haircut, I guess. I don't know. I can't get over it.
I didn't even...
But I was like, oh, there's Mark and his terrible haircut, and he's not wearing the winter jacket. None of the shadows are dressed appropriately.
Right.
What suggests they're like maybe mirages or whatever. They're not actually physical bodies.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they came from.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I did want to mention that Dylan's shadow looks like the dude that didn't hire him at the door place.
Oh, really?
To me, it looked like it. Because that was the first thing I thought. I was
Okay.
like, maybe they went and got him to be Dylan's shadow.
I saw Dylan, but
it could have been his doppelganger, could have been the dude from the door place. And maybe we're going to see the rest of their doppelgangers elsewhere.
Maybe.
And then you got Helly.
Yeah.
Who, her neck was all twisted, all weird.
Yeah, she was kind of
And
like
a lot of people were saying that that's possibly because she tried to hang herself in that one episode. So, because it's, I wonder if their shadows is the part of their woe. Mm-hmm. Like, their despair, their depression, like maybe that's where they're coming from. Yeah. So yeah, because that would have been Helly's lowest point, is whenever she did that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that there were the doppelgangers or twins, as some of them, I think Milchick called them their twins. So whenever they get to the cave after their creepy gangers point them along the way, the appendix is sitting under a light.
Yes,
it's perfectly
meant to be
lit.
found. Yeah,
right. So again, back to what your mom said. Where did the power come from for that?
Yeah, it's a weird. There's some things that aren't impossible in nature going on, which does make me think maybe this isn't a real place. Right. My mom thinks it's like full, like, if anybody's seen Don't Worry, Darling, where they're in
immersed.
a bed plugged up to a tube living a shared existence somewhere, but that's not actually happening.
Right. I mean, that is possible.
I mean, yeah.
My thought was if it's real, that somebody has to maintain that. There is a person that goes out and maintains that light.
Yeah, the whole place, right? I mean...
Which is just silly.
But also, I think by the end of the episode, I feel like I kind of threw out that theory, because why would Helena be that worried that she's being drowned and all that? So much so that she was like, let Helly take over my body again.
If she knew that it was fake.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, no, this has to be real. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah. And then whenever they get there to the book, why... Now that we know... Spoilers. If you're watching this, you should not be watching this unless you've seen the episode. So go do that. I'm not going to say spoilers again. You should know. Now that we know that it was Helena, why was she the one who picked up the book?
The appendix?
Yeah.
I don't know.
She probably knows what was in it, right?
Yeah.
Because she's probably been taught that since she was a little girl.
Yeah.
So why would she be the one? What's the deal?
Keep up the ruse? I don't know.
I guess I can see that.
Do you feel like it's significant that she was the one that picked it up?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like, because she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't she just leave it for one of them to find? And why, because she read it, she was reading through it as if she had never heard it before.
Yeah.
She knows who Dieter Egan is, come on. Zach Cherry obviously doesn't.
Right.
Dylan doesn't know who it is. It's like, who the is Dieter Egan?
Yeah. Is Dieter an anagram for anything else?
I didn't look into that.
I know Ortbo is a robot, right?
Oh, see, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. No, my mom immediately was, I was like, do you want to come on the Severance podcast?
We do need to have her on.
She's like, no, I curse too much and I don't like being bleeped out. Because she's watched the one where I curse.
That's a big deal to her, man.
It bothers her. She's like, why not? I'm like, listen, he wants to keep the brand light. We're anti-cursing over it. Just plain nonsense.
Right. Yeah, I didn't even think about anagrams. I didn't even think about Ortbo being a robot.
Yeah. I don't know if it's significant, but I noticed it.
Right. Yeah, no, there's no telling. Yeah. With this show, there's no telling. We won't know until like season 7.
Yeah.
They're like, the Ortbo was this. Okay, so Kier, in the book, Kier talks about Dieter wanting to live in the woods. So they went to Woe's Hollow. Basically, on their way, Dieter ends up boning the planet. And then he spills his lineage upon the soil. So I heard that, and I was like, hold up. Is this what they're saying?
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, maybe he cut himself. Maybe that's what they meant, like his blood.
Spills his lineage?
Like if you spill your blood and you die, your lineage is done.
Yeah, I guess.
Your bloodline, your lineage. I was hoping for that.
Yeah, but no.
No, definitely not. And I'm like, that took a turn. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things I don't expect from Severance, but that was definitely one that I did not expect from Severance.
The twin twist alone.
The twin twist?
Yeah, we didn't know that Kier had a twin, did we?
Oh, yeah. That was actually something I wanted to talk about because I think...
That's BS.
Dieter and Kier are the same person.
And they figured out how to sever
Could
someone
be
long ago.
Either that or he had like a split personality.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just made up another
He was on his deathbed when he wrote this story, supposedly, right, or told it. So
yeah, so I think he came up with Kier as a way to be like, he was Dieter. This is my opinion. He was Dieter, and he was very, let's say, frivolous. I don't know what the word is. And then he was like, oh man, if people are going to see me, I need to come up with another persona.
I need, an alter ego.
This I could be way off, but I like coming up with these grandiose things and then finding out that they're wrong or whatever.
Oh, my mom also has another fun theory to share related to Gemma and Miss Huang.
Okay.
Do we want to get into? I guess we can get into it now. Yeah, because
I can edit this to whatever.
Yeah. So she believes that Miss Huang is Gemma. That Gemma's clone was literally like put out of commission. Yeah. And they have like her stem cells or whatever, and they've been raising a baby or another Gemma, and she's eventually going to grow into Gemma, and that's just child Gemma.
Okay.
I'm not quite on that train because I think Mark would still recognize his wife even if she was like 15, 14. I mean, your facial structure and things don't change that much, and they don't look that much alike.
Right. Yeah, because that would have been a casting nightmare.
Yeah. Like we really have to find someone to match the actress, and they don't look alike to me at all. So I'm not on that train, but I support people's ideas to think of lots of off the wall things.
I love when people come up with stuff like that because it's so much more fun.
Yeah.
While they're walking, they're headed to the waterfall now. To Woe's Hollow.
The world's biggest waterfall, according to Milchek. So obviously they're not in our universe, or Milchek's just like, we'll just keep these people as in the dark to make it seem so grand and special.
I think that's what it was. He's just like, because they don't know any better.
Yeah, he's like, that's not a very big waterfall. Come on now.
Yeah, that was a big deal on the online too. Everybody on the line.
Put it out there on the line.
That was a big deal online too because everybody was like, that's not the biggest waterfall.
Yeah, lies.
But yeah, so while they're walking there, before they actually like came out and said that it was Helena, Mark asks. I wrote Helena in here because I'm like, I can't call her Helly.
Yeah.
Mark asks Helena, "Are you okay?" Helena responds, "Yeah, I just wish I knew where we were going." You know where you're going. Like, why are you such a liar?
Yeah.
But her face looks like she knows, but just wants to see Mark's response. She doesn't look like Helly. That was a feeling that I got. And then while they're walking, still Irving is very suspicious of Helly. He asks Mark what they were talking about, and he's still on about the Night Gardener. He's still like on it. Yeah. Which, I mean, obviously Irving is very suspicious of her through the whole thing. This is when they stumble upon the carcass that resembles the Montauk monster, which I came across that information because I didn't know what that was.
I didn't know what it was either.
It's literally, I have it written down. It was an event that saw an unidentifiable rotten animal carcass wash up on the shores of the New York City district in July of 2008.
Oh, wow.
And I actually have a photo.
Did you find a photo of it?
Yeah, I actually have on here. It says, show Mykah the photo. That was in my notes.
My first thought, I was like, it's a hippo. My mom's like, it's a seal, you idiot. And it's probably neither. Let's find you. Ew. Well, these are oh my God.
No, it looks like just like a naked mole thing.
Oh no, it's horrible, claws. But it has a human hand almost.
Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost looks like a jaguar
So that, it looks very similar.
What was the Montauk monster?
Yeah, that's what it just washed up on shore. Nobody knows what it is. I don't think it's been identified. It says an unidentifiable rotten animal. Which is kind of crazy because the name of the file. The name of the file. The name of the file that Irving was messing with, or in his dream, was Montauk.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's why I feel like maybe.
So that's where they are, presumably, maybe.
Could
I don't know. Yeah, a nod to that at the very least. Yeah.
No, they're in the Dieter Egan National Forest.
Yeah.
The one that he boned and then became a tree.
Yep.
Okay, so Irving's immediate thought to eat it for survival. It plays into his military / survival background.
Right. Yeah.
So, and actually, we can talk about it later, but you get a glimpse of that later when he's like interrogating. Helly. Like that's when I got the chills. But we'll get there. They have this was interesting. They have never seen anything dead. the innies.
That's
haven't.
true, yeah. I guess this is what a dead animal looks like.
So it's like, just, that's another interesting thing to be like, they've never seen a dead thing. They arrive at the largest waterfall on the planet, according to Milkshake. I keep calling them doppelgangers, but I'll use your term, they're shadows.
I thought they were referred to as shadows by someone in the episode. Did I make that up?
I think it was
Maybe
online.
I read that online.
Online they called them shadows,
Okay.
but I think Milkshake called them twins.
Yeah. Funnily enough, Benny and I are watching an anime that has shadows that are clones of the other people. And they're called shadows. So when that came, that I immediately was like, oh my god, that's just like that show.
That'll make a lot of sense why you're
Summertime Rendering on Netflix.
What is it?
Summertime Rendering. It's a really good anime.
Summertime Rendering.
Yep.
Okay, so then the doppelgangers are standing up at the top watching over them. They trek to the campsite. And this is where Milkshake promises them a bunch of luxuries and shows them fire for the first time ever. Because they've never seen fire.
Yeah. Luxuries, I guess, if you're like glamping. I didn't think it was that great. 4-ply toilet paper, everybody. Woo!
Well, they're children. Like, they don't know any better. So it's
but would children get excited about 4-ply toilet paper?
Like man children would.
Yeah.
Like grown adult children, I
guess.
These
weird in between.
Yeah,
they're adults.
It's so weird. Just
baby adults.
Trying to think about that stuff. They're always treating them like they're in kindergarten classroom.
Yeah.
That's essentially.
Except you wouldn't give kindergartners fire. And I also was surprised by the stupidity of them to actually give them fire, or their bravery, or
right.
Like you wouldn't think. I mean, they could burn the whole camp down with that fire. No, so.
I mean, with the snow and everything, do you think?
He'd still burn a couple tents, which you would think would be a problem. What if all the tents get burnt?
They had heaters in them, which we learn about later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was cool that they had seen fire for the first time like that, and then they were like, oh, it's so pretty. Because imagine if you'd never seen it in your entire life, and then all of a sudden you're like, what is this?
It is beautiful. Fire is beautiful.
It is pretty. And then the next thing that happens is Helena brings Irving a snow seal. But then he questions her story again. I'm curious what her intention was. Was she just trying to like smooth it over? So
I think get him off her case a little bit. Like, look, it's me, Helly.
That was a cute seal, though.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's unbelievably cute. To make anything that small out of snow, you have to have like the best packing snow.
Right.
So please take me to Woe's Canyon because I really like building snow things and I like small stuff.
Yeah, you're a fan of like little miniature stuff.
I like that mini stuff.
This goes back to what you were talking about. The way Helena's face changed and the way she said Irving, like a scolding parent. Because he was asking, he's like, what did you really see? And she's like, I told you.
Yeah.
Like really innocently, like, I told you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, still questioning it. And then that's when she turns into the school teacher / parent.
Her head just moves just a little bit.
And she's like...
Yeah. It's like watching someone, like, and the first thought I had of anybody that's watched America's Next Top Model, there's this thing called the smize that Tyra does, where you kind of, like, tense up the muscles, and I can't do it properly without actually smiling.
Right.
But you tense up the muscles of your face, so you look one certain way, like, and then it drops like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so subtle.
Yeah.
But you like, I've seen that look before, and that's when you know you're in trouble.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was like, oh man, it's Helena. You can tell. And
yeah.
I guarantee he clocked that.
Yeah. Big props to Britt Lauer.
Yeah, she's so good. Like, I was watching a bunch of the interviews, and they're talking about how amazing she is because she is Britt Lauer playing Helena, pretending to be Helly.
Right. There's some layers there.
Oh yeah, she did such a good job.
Yeah.
And then they go back outside, and Miss Huang is playing a theremin, which is interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, you like that? Like you think playing?
I mean, it's creepy sounding kind of at the same time, but I think it's cool.
Well, as Milkshake tells the story, Keir and Dieter, they worked in an ether mill.
Is that what they said? Oh,
yeah, they worked in an ether mill, which I'm like, I didn't know you had to mill ether. Yeah, like I don't even know what ether is really. I thought it was a liquid.
What is it? Is it not like a medicine? Ether?
I think it can go into medicine.
Okay.
But it's
when I think of like the Oregon Trail, I think of ether.
Oh yeah.
Like so I'm like seeing some kind of.
I'm sure they use. I mean, I know they use it in medicine, but they use it in drugs and like all kinds of other stuff too. But I don't even know what ether actually is. It's a mineral, maybe.
What is ether?
What ether is it? It's either this or that.
Ether has multiple meanings, including a chemical compound and a cryptocurrency. I'm assuming they mean the chemical compound here. I don't think cryptocurrency is...
Back in the 1940s.
Yeah, or whenever.
They're milling out freaking
It's
cryptocurrency.
a Dogecoin.
Okay, yeah, so... when she's playing the theremin while Milchick is telling them the story.
Yes.
And as the story gets more intense, the music gets more intense. And it's like, it was ridiculous. I have on here, it says, Dieter wanted to live in the woods as a pauper, but then basically exploded into a tree.
Yes.
Because his eye popped out and all the pus and his hair turned into moss.
Yeah, having to... why was pus needed in that story? Come on now. Like, just gross. Stop it.
But I'm curious. Like, he obviously didn't physically become a tree.
Right.
So what is that? What happened? What is Kier?
I mean, I'm kind of on what Helena technically said, and then he just masturbated to death. I don't know. Like, is that what happened? Can you masturbate so hard your eye pops out? Somebody?
I mean, possibly, I guess, because your blood pressure does rise. I mean, I've heard this. So,
when I was at the hospital last week,
I asked him about it.
my eye came out. Imagine calling 911 and trying to explain that that's what happened.
Okay, so here's what happened. What's the location of your emergency? In my pants.
Rip.
Yeah, so he didn't become a tree.
Yeah.
Like, physically. Like,
Right.
so what did Kier see? Is it, like, I'm really curious about
Again,
that.
if they're one person, then maybe that's just where his identity came to die.
Could be.
And he masturbated him out of his system. That's what she says. That's what it's implied.
Oh my gosh.
Are you gonna bleep that out?
No, I think that's
Okay.
fine. I think that's
It's literally it's a word used in the show, so
Yeah, and it's medical. Well, they use a lot of words in this show.
That's true.
No, it's fine. This is where I still think Kier and Dieter are the same person. Now, I have a question about why Milchick told them this story. Was this story told to scare the innies into wanting to remain inside and to ignore their sexual desires? Like, why? Think about, like, if they were children, why would you read a story like this to them?
I don't know. Thankfully, I didn't grow up on any anti-masturbation stories, but I know some people did.
Right.
So that's possible. I don't know.
But
I don't know. I keep thinking we're going to learn more and there's something even more sinister coming. I mean, they have 2 days and we haven't technically we've seen the second day, but like just the morning of it, right?
Yeah, because they immediately as they woke up, they couldn't find Irving, and then he went and found Helly and did
they
all
were
that.
together, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Why is she outright insubordinate?
And making fun of the story.
Yeah, and the story. Because, like, she's Helena.
Yeah.
So she knows that, like, she knows what her job is. And,
Right.
like, what Milchick's job is. So why is she belittling him? She's belittling the story of her supposed ancestry.
Right.
Is she not a believer? Like, and then
It makes me think
Milchick
that...
is disappointed in her.
Yeah, it makes me think she actually hasn't heard that story. And that she's kind of like being like, this is stupid compared to what I know of my lineage. So she's kind of like laughing about it. Like, what? Like, why are you telling them this? Maybe even. Okay. Maybe she can't believe the idiocracy of it all.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's very out there and very
So
wild.
she's literally like, I'm going to break the fourth wall here. And it's like, this is stupid. Like.
But then, like, she's so controlled whenever she's in the building. And, like, she's talking to Cobell and, like, running things and telling people what to do. Yeah. Why is she so, like...
human all of a sudden.
And, like, she's, like, out these outbursts, like, whenever she's out in the... Is she trying to show off for Mark? Is she, like... I
mean, possibly. I mean, she doesn't need to do... Obviously, there's some kind of human interest in Mark, right? So... Right. So maybe she was trying to play Helly, and it's just as simple as that.
Okay,
like,
that's a good point.
I mean...
Because, I guess that whole thing could have been planned. Yeah. Where Milchick got upset, because he never intended for them to have the marshmallows.
Right. I'm going to burn them all.
Yeah, so
That was so funny to me. That was such a childish reaction. Like,
yeah. And then you got Mark like, come on, Mr. Milchick.
yeah, please.
So funny. Helena flirts with Mark. Irv doesn't like it.
Yeah. Well, before that,
yeah.
if you want to touch on this at all, while she's making fun of this story, Irving is like, well, it's not funny.
Right.
And she's like, oh, don't worry about Irving. He's just sad because he'll never see his boyfriend again, basically, is what she says.
Right.
To the effect she says that.
Yeah.
And he gets up and goes into the room, and then she goes into Mark's tent and is like, I shouldn't have said that.
No, she goes to her tent.
Oh, Mark comes into
Mark's
her tent. That's
tent,
right.
yeah.
And she's like, I shouldn't have said that to Irving. That was mean.
Right. And then did she mean it, or is she still trying to manipulate Mark?
Right.
So, yeah, it's so hard to tell because sometimes she seems genuine. And you're like, she actually cares for him and she really is sorry. But then other times you're like, this doesn't feel real.
Right.
Like, they flirt in the tent for a little bit. And then they end up getting down.
Which is a big jump, but especially for like baby adults.
Right.
I was like, wow, okay.
Well,
but it's like they know how to do things at the same time. Like they know of sex and how to do it, obviously. Right. So it's...
Yeah, I mean, when you're a kid, you know what it is. You just haven't done it.
Right.
And you know how it works.
Right.
Yeah, you just haven't done it.
Yeah.
So actually, I was watching an interview, and Dan Erickson, the creator of the show, he said basically season 1 was like they were toddlers. Season 2, they're in adolescence. So now they're learning who they are and like experimenting, trying things, finding out like, trying to be people.
Yeah. But also, Helena wasn't a toddler.
Yeah, Helena.
Like, she's probably, we can assume, has had sex as an Audi as herself.
Right.
So, but it was the way they shot the scene. I mean, you didn't see enough to see if like she was taking control or the lead or anything like that necessarily.
Well,
I don't think.
Does she
kiss him first?
She did get on top at one point.
Oh, does she? Okay.
Yeah. At the very end, she's on top.
Yeah.
Which not necessarily means she's in control, but she. I mean, kind of.
It could be a nod to that, though.
Yeah.
I mean.
But then it makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, is she impregnated? For one.
Yeah.
Because now she's about to have Mark's baby, and why? Why is it that important?
And it's not even Helly that got to have the sex.
Right.
You're pregnant, you need to have sex.
Right. Well, no, I'm saying like Helena. Why does Helena Egan
want to have sex with Mark?
Mark's baby if she's pregnant? If
not, you think that's her goal from having sex with him was to get pregnant?
Maybe. Not necessarily, but I'm just saying if she did get pregnant, like why did she want to do that?
Why would she even put it at risk? Yeah.
Yeah, and then why did she? Why Mark?
Yeah.
Like, is it just that she wants to feel some human connection, and then they are attracted to each other?
I don't know. I was shocked that it happened. I mean, I knew it was happening because I think there were some spoilers on the internet and at the end of the last episode, you like saw some scenes where you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Because you see there's like Red and he's on top of her.
Right.
And their faces are real close.
Right.
So I don't know if they were kissing or not in that one. But yeah. And then this brings up a sensitive topic because I came across this on Reddit and a lot of people were mentioning it and I'm like, that's a good point. Is it consent?
For who?
For for Mark, for one, because he thought he was having sex with Helly. Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's definitely messed up.
Yeah. So is that consent? And I'm not expecting you to have an answer. This is just a. I guess is that what rhetoric is? Like the rhetorical question where I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know words.
That would be correct.
Yeah. So it's
it's complicated. It's like complicated. It'd be like someone that you're married to a twin and the twin that you're not married to tricks you into thinking, yes, it's me, Jessica, not Julie, and then has sex with you, and then you're like, oh my god.
That did happen a lot. I mean, in the Bible. So and if there are a lot of religious tie-ins in Severance.
Oh, for sure.
So I mean, that could be a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But it just brings up a whole.
It's definitely thing. Betrayal. Yeah. I don't know if it's.
But I just thought of this when we were sitting here talking. It could also be that Helena knows that Helly is interested in Mark. Maybe she was like, I'm going to take this from her. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's mean.
Yeah, it is
That's
mean.
Real mean.
Your first time.
Yeah. Because, like, now she doesn't get to, I mean, she could, I guess, later. Whenever, because she does become Ellie later.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, so those are just some of the thoughts that were rattling around in the brain.
Yeah.
Okay, so afterwards, this is where the shame comes in.
Shame.
Helena mentions that she doesn't like who she is on the outside. She didn't like her.
Oh, in the tent in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
No, not the morning. This was like right after.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They're laying there.
When you're vulnerable.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the little arm rubs or whatever. Yeah, so she was like, I didn't like who I was on the outside.
Yeah.
And now, is she being truthful? Or is she just trying to make Mark care for her? I'm still...
I think she's telling the truth as
that looked
Helena,
legit. Like, it looked
Mabley.
real.
Like, I actually don't like who I am. And I'm telling you now, even though you think it means something different.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really do think that felt genuine. The way she said it and everything. It just felt really genuine. Yeah, and then Mark asks, who were you? Mm-hmm. And then he says, I don't care who you were. I just care about who you are with me.
Yeah, who you are with me, yeah.
This comes on the back of, I meant to say this earlier, they're sitting in there on the bed or in the tent, whatever, before the lights go down.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you could do this after the comment that was made. She manipulates him using his wife. And she plays coy about how much she has helped look for her. She's like, she's like, have I been helping? He's like, yeah, you've been helping a lot. She goes, have I?
Yeah.
So it's like, she says like, you're still looking for your wife or something along those lines. And he's like, yeah, but whatever he says. And it's like, how do you go from that where it's like, your wife is missing to like, let's bone down?
Well, because he doesn't really know his wife. It still is any. You know she exists, but he himself has no personal, emotional attachment to her.
Like, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, I kind of understand it. I mean, if people can be married and get crushes on other people's work, then certainly somebody that you have no memory of, but you know exists.
Right.
Like, it's like waking up from a coma and you forgot you were married, kind of. You feel allegiance to this person, but you're kind of a stranger at the same time to me.
I gotcha.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And again, I'm not expecting answers from
you.
It's just like...
No. Good thoughts. Good thoughts.
Let's see. At the very end, whenever Mark, after he says that, he rolls over on top of her and he's looking at her, he has a little bit of reintegration sickness. Where Ellie quickly glitches into Gemma's space. Yeah. And then glitches back out.
Which makes you wonder about the timeline of what is going on, too. Because I was like...
What do you mean?
Like, he's having reintegration sickness, but how?
What do you mean?
Like, where are we, when does this episode take place? How is he having reintegration sickness?
Well, in the last episode, he said he actually gets the reintegration done.
Right. So is this afterwards?
It has to be. Why wouldn't it be?
Because shouldn't he be if he's reintegrated, he should be like, oh my God, both of him, his innie and his outie should be together, right? He should know everything that's going on.
That is a good point.
We don't see any kind of crazy reaction like, oh my God, I'm finally together in one place.
That's a really...
Oh, you didn't think about that?
No.
I'm like, what's that? I'm trying to figure out the timeline of events because it's like, okay, did it not work or it kind of worked? And is it going to start to work all of a sudden when he's seen Gemma?
Maybe it doesn't. I wonder...
Because we don't even know if it really worked yet.
So... Petey never went back down to the severed floor.
Right.
So maybe he's only reintegrated on the outside.
What
when
do you
he
mean?
goes, like when he's outside.
Oh.
Yeah, because like when he's his outie.
Gotcha.
So maybe the inside doesn't have the outside memories.
Oh.
But the reintegration sickness.
I thought that meant they both exist together.
Yeah.
No matter.
I mean, I thought that too.
Sure.
But we never saw Petey go down into Lumen. He was only on the outside.
Right.
And his was jacked up.
Right, yeah.
Because Ragabi was still learning how to do it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think it's the outie has the reintegration, the innie doesn't. But the chip is obviously messed up. Work. Yeah. I get what you're saying, because it should be all across the board.
That's what I assumed was happening when he was being reintegrated.
Right.
Is that I think
it's just the outie has the innie's memories. Based on what we've just discovered.
Just the Audi. So he can't go into work and help himself then, really. Because he did that so he could go to work to find Gemma and actually know who the hell Gemma is. I mean, he's already doing that.
Well, his Audi now knows what goes on inside Lumen, if this is how it works.
Right.
So maybe, yeah, I don't know. I think once you go through the door or the overtime contingency or whatever, when you're flipped from Audi to any, all the memories are gone except for any memories.
Right.
It's a very interesting technology. That's all I can say about it.
I'm gonna Google this immediately when we're done because I'm like, there has to be an answer, and we've overlooked it. We're just the worst show covers ever.
It's right there. Okay, so let's see. Meanwhile, Irv falls asleep in the woods, and he dreams. He dreams of the MDR cubicles, his desk, the Montauk file. Bert,
but they're in the middle of the forest.
Right. Yeah, they're all in the middle of the forest. Bert, the half-bride, which the half-bride, I had to calculate it in my head. She is sitting where Helly sits in the group. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Irv can look across diagonally and see her. I had to figure out where everybody was. I'm 99% sure. Helena's face is in the letters that are on the screen.
Yes. Yeah.
And the numbers spell Egan.
Oh,
the numbers
I didn't
on the
notice
screen
that.
are 5, 7, 1, and 14. The fifth letter of the alphabet is E. The first letter is A. The seventh is G. The first letter is A. And the 14th is N.
Good catch.
And then in that scene, it was really foggy, right? And it looked super creepy. I listened to the podcast. All of that fog was real.
Oh, God.
That was not, they didn't fake that at all. They were planning on shooting the scene on the cliff with the TV at the very beginning. They were planning on shooting it that day. But it was too foggy, so they went over and shot this scene instead. And all of that fog was real. And they were very, very surprised that it just worked out that way.
Yeah.
So I thought I love the behind the scenes production notes.
No, that's great.
That.
And gosh, yeah, the half bride, the half woman, whatever we're calling her, the Woe is
her name
terrifying.
Is Woe, yeah.
Yeah, she's terrifying.
She looks super creepy.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, it's the girl from The Ring. That was my first thought. They casted her for this.
She's all grown up and old now.
Right, yeah, exactly.
She's lost her hair.
Yeah.
She's now working a desk.
Right. Poor Samara, wasn't that her name? Samara?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a minute since I've seen The Ring.
Yeah.
That movie scared the crap out of me, though.
Yep.
So then when Irv wakes up, he finds Helena at the waterfall. And she has, whenever Irving goes, hey, kid, and she turns around, and they're talking, she's got this tight expression on her mouth. Did you notice that? What was up with that? I don't
know. Why did she venture out into the woods to go to the waterfall? What is she doing there?
Masturbating.
Yeah. Probably.
She wants to become a tree.
Woohoo!
No, she didn't need to. They already did it. I don't know, man. She was just
because I'm like, what is she? Is she just
maybe she
I'm checking out this place.
Alone.
Yeah. Maybe
she wanted to be alone, because she was I don't like myself.
Yeah.
And then
the tight-lipped thing, I think, could have just been nerves. It's because she's suddenly under a body of water.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
But she had the tight face, and I was it just looked strange. Let's see. Oh yeah, and this is where it goes back to whenever Helena was being a jerk to Irving about saying he's mad because he hasn't seen Bert. I love the way this right here, John Turturro, the way he acted this whole entire scene. I was A+, so freaking good. He was you were cruel.
Yes.
Helly was never cruel.
Yeah.
And I was oh, get her, Papa Bear.
Get her, Big Irv.
Big Irv.
I love Irving. I do love his character.
So
he has great hair too.
I didn't care much for him through the whole, most of the series. It's not I didn't like him.
Yeah.
I was just his storyline, whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Because I was just
well, you also are on the bandwagon. He's a spy. His Audi's a spy, right? Or
I thought
was
that,
one?
yeah. But he could be military.
Yeah.
After this episode, his military training came out.
Yeah.
He questions Helena and he drags her to the pool and he dunks her head in. And I have on here, Irving goes full interrogator.
Yeah. Tell me who you are.
Yeah.
Tell me the truth.
And then all the stuff that Irving is yelling out, he's she's an Egan, she's an Audi.
Yeah.
And then Mark comes up there. Once he says she's an Egan, the look on Mark's face.
Yeah.
Because I think he realizes now
Mm-hmm.
that he did not sleep with Helly.
Or even the potential that he doesn't sleep with Helly is weird, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be like, oh, God, wait, what?
Right. And then this is what gave me chills.
Mm-hmm.
Where Irving calls out. He says, switch her back.
Yeah.
And then she goes, GD, Seth, do it.
Yeah.
And then Irving goes, yeah, Seth.
I know, that made me laugh.
Because through
Yeah.
the whole series, they've called him Mr. Milchick.
Right.
I keep relating them back.
We learned his name last episode.
No,
Didn't
he's been Seth for a while.
Oh, has he?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Because Harmony called him Seth at some point.
Okay.
Think about this. I keep relating them back to children.
Yeah.
Because it's just that's the comparison that I
Mm-hmm.
get. Did you ever call your teacher by her first name?
No,
Think
that's very
about, like,
controversial.
right.
Yeah.
So that's basically what he did. Because
Yeah.
he's always been Mr. Milchick with
Right. Mm-hmm.
the respect and all that kind of stuff. Now it's like, yeah, do it, Seth. He's like,
Yeah.
I was like,
I have some kind of power over you now because I know your real name.
I got the chills.
Yeah.
It was defiance. That's
Yeah.
what it was. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna show you my like, I don't know what the words are. See, I was just like, it was so intense, and I thought it was he did it so well. And then Milchick calls on his walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
He's like, remove the Glasgow block.
Yep.
And then I think it was season 1, episode 9. Whenever they're showing all the inside the security room when Dylan goes in there to flip the switches and stuff for the overtime contingency. One of the things on there is called Glasgow.
Okay.
So I feel
Did you go back and see what it is?
No, I didn't. I
what's
just
switch?
remember about it, but
Yeah.
I didn't go back and look at it. But I think it was just listed on one of the things. But I feel like because we've been trying to figure out what the MDR files are for so long,
Right.
and I've been saying the whole time that I think they're refining other people's chips.
Right.
That may not be it. It may be what they can do with the chips.
Yeah.
Because the Glasgow block, it was blocking Helly from coming like Helena turning into Helly.
Right.
So Cold Harbor obviously has something to do with Gemma, Miss Casey, or whatever they're doing with her. And so I think they may not necessarily be a person's chip, but some sort of procedure that can be done with the chip.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking like major world events. That's what the Lexington letter made me think of.
Right.
I mean, I guess it wasn't a major world event, but it was a crash.
Yeah, but it could have been something that they did with the chip. Not necessarily that specific person.
Right.
But it could have been like whatever that file was called that she was working on.
Yes. Yeah.
That the project that it is.
Yes.
It made that dude feel like he was he was threatened or whatever. Yeah. So it's not. I don't think it necessarily deals with a specific person. It's just whatever they can do with that.
Right.
And they're filtering out all the woe, the frolic, whatever, the folly, whatever all those the temperaments are, and they're filtering them so that way they can control them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I feel like that's what those are for. And then after Helena gets turned back into Helly, I got a couple things to say about that. First of all, he pulls her out of the water. Irving pulls her out and he holds her.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm so
He's
sorry.
like, I'm so sorry. Because like now he knows like that's Helly.
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine being Helly.
Oh, yeah.
You're on stage at the Lumen party and you're like, they're torturing us.
Yeah.
Dylan gets tackled. He lets go of the switches and Helly is gone. That was the end of...
It's like getting shot, thinking you're dead, and waking up
right,
in another world.
Right, well, just... I'm just... Imagine that was the last thing she sees.
It is,
okay?
Presumably, yeah.
And then that was the end of season 1. Season 2 starts, and we don't see Helly until she's face planted in this water.
Right.
So the last thing she says on stage is they're torturing us.
Yeah.
And she is being tortured. With the very next thing when she wakes up.
Right.
Her face, she's in freezing cold water.
Right.
And now, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like being born almost.
Just happened?
Yeah.
So I like getting into that intense, like the emotion of how she would have felt.
Yeah. Very confusing. I'm cold. I'm in the woods. Wait, here are my friends again. Why are we here? What happened?
Right.
What happened?
Right.
That's what she says, right?
But that intense change of like, they're torturing us, and then just a face full of water.
Right.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And then the last couple things that happen, Irving, as he's leaving, he's like, because Dylan is like, I'm so sorry, I should have listened to you.
Yeah.
And then Irving looks up at him and he's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It'll all be okay.
Yeah.
Dylan,
What does he say?
Just remember, hang in there.
Hang in there, yes. Yeah.
That is a callback to a poster that's on the wall. You have to like look at the background in the show of the break room.
Right.
There's a poster of Dylan holding.
Oh, it's a poster of Dylan?
Of Dylan holding the switches. And it says, just hang in there. So, I feel like Irving is like, don't worry about it. You're going to see me again.
Right.
He's telling Dylan, you can get in there and activate the overtime contingency again. So, I think that's what he was telling him when he said, just hang in there. Milchick doesn't know. I don't think he's going to put the pieces together. And Dylan I think he's going to see it. I think in one of the next couple episodes, Dylan's going to be in there and he's going to see that poster and it's going to click. And then that's when Milchick deletes Irving.
Yeah. Gosh.
So I'm curious what's going to happen because he says it will be as if you never took a breath on the earth.
Which is not true, first of all. When he was telling him all this, it's like he has impacted the lives around him, so that is not true.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's obviously...
When you die, it's not as if you never took a breath on the earth. Like, I just thought that was so horrible what he was saying to him. I hated it.
Well, he was saying, like, we are so powerful, we can erase all your existence. Yes. But, like, what's going to happen? Do they have the ability to actually delete Irving B? Like, not any.
Right. Or is he somewhere still buried in
Or
there?
is it just going to be in his head still? Like,
and just not turned on?
Yeah.
At least by Lumen.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's going to happen?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's sad to think that we wouldn't see... I want to call him the real Irving, but any Irving anymore.
Right. Especially after that.
I know.
Because he's definitely a protector.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thoughts on the episode? I did a lot of talking for this whole thing. I feel like I didn't want to overstep.
No, you're good.
Okay, good.
There was a lot, and I know you like Rob watched this episode 3 times.
I watched it 3 times. I watched a bunch of interviews. I listened to the podcast. I read a bunch of fan theories on Reddit. Like that's
what I'll dig into now is like what people are saying on Reddit.
This is my favorite episode so far in the whole series.
Yeah, I think it was my mom's too. Yeah. It's probably mine, but I feel like we're on a ladder and it's just gonna keep getting better. That's what I feel like. I hope so I don't want to call it yet.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. It's so much fun to dive into these episodes, and like I love hearing everybody's theories and like their thoughts on things. So if you guys want, comment down below, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Give us some interaction so that we can actually kind of grow this thing a little bit.
Please. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Can I go straight into it?
Yeah.
I'm like, should I look deep and kind of creepy like the shot?
Yeah.
Now that I have an actual camera in front of
me.
What do I say? Try to enjoy each episode equally.
Yeah.
As always, try to enjoy each episode equally. Maybe I don't because I keep a serious face. As always, try to enjoy each episode equally.
Okay, bye.
Bye.